Sarah Smith was on the show yesterday, and as I was talking about before the show began, she knocked it out of the park. Man, she crushed it. She did really, really good. And I gotta say, and I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but the truth is, a lot of people running for office and people in office, more so people in office, are really scared to do this show. It's not even that big of a show, so I'm surprised, but apparently word got out. And a lot of people are scared to do this show, which I kind of wear as a badge of honor. That's part of the reason that Pasta kind of books the guests and I don't, because he's just such a genuinely sweet dude, and just like a big, like he's just full of so much life and energy, and he's such a people person that I just know we have a better chance at getting people when it's him and not me. Because I'll just be like, yeah, you want to do my show or not? If you're scared, whatever. But he's just so like, oh, come on, But a lot of people are scared to do this show, and I think it's because you guys don't take any crap. You guys are a no bullshit audience, and I appreciate that, and I celebrate it. And I think it's awesome. So, yeah, way to be awesome executive producers. And so my point is that she really knocked it out of the park. And I feel like if you knock it out of the park here, you're on to something good. You know, I mean, and it's not because of me. It's because of you, not me. I'm just the guy that kind of facilitates it all. You guys are the people that make it that way. If it was just me, nobody would be scared to come on this show. It's you guys. And, but that gets into my question today. So shortly after Sarah did Get Your News On with Ron with us, she went and she did Fox News. Now, rumor has it she crushed it on Fox News. That's what I've been seeing online. She knocked it out of the park. I'd like to think, if you guys remember, we did our Fox News practice session. Remember, I pretended to be a Fox News person, and she answered the questions. Maybe we helped. I'd like to think we helped. I'd like to think that was a good... I know that her husband preps her a lot. I know that she's had a lot of practice. I know she's been working hard and kicking ass and taking names. But hey, maybe the little last minute Get Your News On with Ron practice Fox News style, maybe it helped. I don't know. I'd like to think so. Maybe. So my question for today is, what is the most obvious policy, like the easiest policy that is really ready for just full, like that we can really translate into the heartland and translate into the right, where we can be like, look, this policy benefits everybody. Let's see through the divisive BS that gets thrown at us on a daily basis. Let's see through the left-right paradigms people always throw in, the labels people throw out, and let's really talk about this policy and why it's a good thing, and let's get people on board. What is the policy that is really ready for that? I'm going to go with so I'll answer first, and I'll give you guys time to answer in the chat here. I'm going to go with what I feel is the most obvious answer, and I'm sure some of you guys have the same answer as me, and that's okay. Single-payer healthcare / Medicare for all. Fox and Friends did a poll yesterday, or earlier this week. Maybe it wasn't yesterday. It might have been like a couple days ago on Twitter, where they brought up that Koch brothers funded study that said Medicare for all would cost about $32.6 trillion. However, what we're currently doing cost over $33 trillion. So even a Koch brothers study, which we did a story about that here on this show, even the Koch brothers basically admitted Medicare for all would save our country money. And everybody would have health insurance. So Fox News did a Twitter poll where they said, Medicare for all would cost $32.6 trillion. Is it worth, do the benefits outweigh the costs? Now, what the Fox News Twitter poll didn't say was that this would save us money. They didn't add that part. They didn't say, by the way, we're already spending close to $34 trillion. They didn't say that part. They left that part out. That's like saying, hey, you have to have a car no matter what. This car costs $5,000. is the benefit worth the cost? What they're neglecting to tell you is that your only other option costs $10,000. And the car that costs $5,000 is actually better. That's what they're not telling you. So that's what Fox News stated. It was very deceptive and it was propaganda. You should expect no less from Fox News. However, despite that, the results of the poll, 73% said, yes, it's worth it. So even not telling people the fact, and maybe some of those people knew that anyway, but even with them not even including the fact that, oh, by the way, it's cheaper, still 73% of Fox News followers said it was worth it. So tell me again how democratic socialism can't work in the heartland. Tell me again about that. Tell me it can't work in the Midwest, apparently. It can't work in the Midwest where in Wisconsin they are really trying to fire up their unions. It can't work in the Midwest where in Michigan Bernie Sanders crushed. It can't work in the Midwest where in Minnesota the voters overwhelmingly wanted Bernie Sanders and then Al Franken screwed them over. So I'm going with Medicare for all and single-payer healthcare. I think that people are so ready for it. I mean, 60% of adults favor it, and that was even before. And this study, which is a right-wing study, even they're coming to the conclusion, despite how hard they're trying to fudge the numbers, that Medicare for all saves money and is more efficient. I mean, that... So now you have the conservative argument for Medicare for all. It's a more efficient system, and it leads to healthier workers, which leads to more productivity. Even if you take the view of the most amoral capitalist, you're still coming to the conclusion that Medicare for all is the way to go. Like, I'm capitalist Magoo. I run this company. I have these workers. I don't give a hoot about their well-being. I don't care. I just care about my bottom line. Well, gee. With Medicare for all, I'm not footing the bill for their health care anymore, first of all. It doesn't fall on me, the employer, anymore. Second of all, it saves everybody money. Third of all, man, I really want my employees to be as productive as possible. Well, guess what? Now, they're not just going to the doctor when they have an emergency or when they're really sick. They're getting a checkup. They're focusing on preventative care. So I might have employee A who has a little heart condition. And because they didn't get it looked at, because they weren't getting checkups every year, they didn't do anything about it until they maybe had a heart attack or maybe had something really terrible happen to them. And then I lose them for 6 months or whatever, however long. Meanwhile, if they're going to the doctor every year, they catch this heart issue right away. It's a quick procedure that takes 10 minutes. They're in and out and they're fine. I don't lose any productivity. Putting aside all the moral issues there, just looking at it through the lens of evil capitalist Magoo, which is what I just did. I looked at it through the lens of evil capitalist Magoo. Even that perspective should just common sense-wise come to the conclusion that Medicare for all is better. Period. That's it. So my answer is Medicare for all. What are your guys' answers? Getting money out of politics. I think that's a good pick, too. I think a lot of people are for that, and I think a lot of people are disenfranchised by the corruption. What you're going to get, though, is you're going to get a lot of spin messaging by Republicans and even libertarians that are going to, and establishment Democrats, of course, that's kind of going to make it out like it's a freedom issue. So I feel like that might be a little tougher. That's still a good one, though, and I do think a lot of people are sick of that. Chris says free higher tuition. I think that's a good pick, too. Absolutely. Dwayne says even Republican voters don't like going bankrupt over medical bills. Ending the foreign wars. Yeah, I think that's definitely something. You know something I would do, since we're on this topic? I was thinking about this the other day, and let me know if you guys think this is a cool idea or not. Like, if I was running for office, let's say, like, which I have no interest in doing, but if I was running for office, one of the things I would campaign on is drastically slashing the military budget and all the bomb money and the defense budget, because it's insane. We spend more than the next 13 countries combined, and we could reinvest that money and give everybody health care. We could have free college tuition. The numbers are there. We have the resources to do it. So I would really heavily campaign on that. However, here's what I would do, because you know that people are going to point their finger and say, well, you're not supporting the troops, you're not supporting the military. Here's how I would combat that. I would say, look, you're wrong, because even though we have this insane military budget, that money is not going to our sons and daughters on the ground. It's not going to them. In the Air Force, if you ruin a pair of boots, you got to pay for another pair of boots out of your own pocket. They don't even give people proper boots to work with. The money's not going to your loved ones that are over there or anywhere else. It's going to defense contractors. The people that are starting wars that are unnecessary, that are putting your sons and daughters into harm's way when it's not necessary. That's where that money goes. It goes to funding more wars. And it's a grift. So here's what I would do. I would slash that budget to make it more reasonable. And I would try to end our wars and invest that money back home. And here's what else I would do to make sure that budget that we do have is being allocated properly. I would appoint a task force consisting exclusively of current serving members and veterans. And that's it. Nobody else is allowed in. Nobody. No lobbyist, no politician that hasn't served. I myself wouldn't be in it. It would only be currently enlisted people and veterans. And they would determine that that budget is being used the right way. So if it's going straight to defense contractors and nobody else, they would have something to say about that. That would be something I'd plan. I would give the budgetary discretion and power to the people that are going over there fighting these unnecessary wars, that are being put in harm's way when it's not necessary. I feel like that would be a good way to kind of like win over the whole, like, you're not patriotic or you're not supporting the troops. That's a way to just put that argument to rest. That's a way to just, boom, slam that argument. Because then when somebody from the right says that to you and you put that back on them, be like, what are you doing to give the people on the ground more power? What are you doing about that? Would you support the same task force? You wouldn't? Which one of us doesn't support the troops then? Is it me or you? Sounds like you. Sounds like you. I'm the one who doesn't want to put them in harm's way when it's not necessary. I'm the one who wants them to have a say in how the budget that's supposedly meant for them is going to be spent. You don't. Which one of us supports the troops? Republican Magoo. Which one of us? You tell me. Anyway, I just think that's something that could really could work. I don't know. Let me see if you guys brought up anyone. You brought up some good ones, though. Getting the money out of politics, ending the wars, Medicare for all. I think all those are ready for just across-the-board support because people are starting to see through the bullshit. They're starting to see through the propaganda. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news on